I am so glad you are here. This is Liz at Megas Books in Minneapolis and at megasbooks.com, wishing you a wonderful Wednesday because it is time for It Is Alive Wednesday. And you'll notice I don't have a guest. Sorry about that. Don't know where the nice gentleman went. He's a local author. I was really looking forward to speaking with him. He is very steeped in the AA culture and communities and does a lot of work lecturing on uh, various forms of addiction and how to beat addiction. Delightful gentleman. Our conversations have been nothing but positive. And he's got a few books and workbooks and a deck of cards that he's worked out from his lectures that he is self-publishing, and they're really well done. And I would encourage anyone interested in grabbing copies of those books wherever you can find them. I don't know at this point if that will be here, sadly, as we've had a lot of seemingly miscommunications, perhaps, I hope. But let me tell you, what are we drinking? Today, I've got a very simple concoction. I've got some green tea in here. I've got some Eleuthero. Wouldn't put ginseng in, not with the green tea, traditionally not considered the best combo, although I have enjoyed it from Arizona Teas. And I've also got a little lemon balm in here. Now, if you're thinking lemon balm and green tea, no. Actually, there are theories that say green tea is calming, at least more so than black tea. It's not quite that kick in the butt that black tea can be. So green tea and these more calming, more uplifting elements are a great combination from my personal experience. So, and I'm wearing nothing. Sorry, guys. I just didn't grab anything to wear. Grabbed a bottle of water for my friend who was coming for the interview, but c'est la vie, right? But that got me thinking about all of our wonderful readers, and I wanted to let you know about them all. So yesterday on Tuesday, we had Raven Wolf, one of our tarot readers, and Jessie, a rune reader, in. They split that day on Tuesdays. I'm not sure we have anybody scheduled today, which means until 4, there will be 2 of us on hand as staff members who can do readings for you. Liz, not this Liz, the other Liz, who was started as a reader here at Megas Books, and myself, I audition all the readers and have loads of experience reading cards. Not being somebody who reads for a living, my readings tend to be a little more succinct, a little quicker, just to let you know. I even had somebody once go, "Is that it? Is that all?" And I had to say, well, we can elaborate, but this is the contents of the reading. So it's a wonderful experience for some folks. We will have Margaret in on Saturday for a few hours. We are looking for a reader for Sundays. It's a great day, but I don't have anyone yet. We've got Heather coming in later this week. Raven Wolf will also be here on another day this week. So really, there's a whole plethora of readers. And as always, if you're looking for dream interpretation and dream work help, come in on Monday and come in from 3 to 6 and come check out Paul. He's delightful and really insightful when it comes to dream interpretation. He's clearly studied it for years, so I'd encourage you to come and check him out as well. Hi out there, everybody. And as for things coming up, what do we got going on? I brought my cheat sheet this time. So on Sunday, coming up this Sunday, the 5th of October, 2025, we've got the Gateway to the Gods class, and I've got a little stash of Blue Lotus. So depending on who signs up, we might be doing the Blue Lotus because there's a little tiny bit of Blue Lotus that I found. On Friday the 10th, this will be very exciting. Do mark your calendars. We have got a wonderful author, local author, coming in. It's the gentleman who does our Solomonic Pentacles and the talking boards and the altar plates. That he has gone way out of his way to make it easy to figure out what you're doing if you're going to approach ceremonial magic and working with Enochian magic, working with angel magic of any kind. He's got a beautiful board. I know I brought it in and shown it off recently. It's a huge board because it has to be. And it's got the pentacle, the little sigil for each of the various entities you might call on within that system. And then next to that is the name on this round wheel. And then next to that is a little explanation of why you would call that particular entity to work for you. Talk about, you don't have to remember all the details. They really are beautifully done. He'll be here on Friday the 10th. I'll be showing up. This is not this Friday, but next Friday from where I'm talking now. And we're going to have the book event. You can come buy the new book, get it signed, do all the things you need to do fabulously. And we'll go from there. He's a musician. Maybe he'll bring a guitar. I don't know. We'll see. And we'll just have fun and have a party in the latter part of the day here at the shop. Will we stay open? If you all come and want to stay and party, I'm here for it. I will stay with you. I will be the one that will be happy to host. We'll have the rune class the next day. So our rune reader, Jesse, who is here on Tuesdays in the latter part of the day from 3 to 6, he'll have his first rune class this Saturday. It's a week from this Saturday on the 11th. It's a by donation class. So come learn, absorb, and then go, wow, I need to help this guy out for having done all this hard work and done all this studying, and choose what you can pay as your fee. The same will be true on Sunday the 12th with Nooch, Nancy Antonucci's Tarot Lab, which don't tell your friends because it's always full. And this classroom's a little smaller than our old classroom, so we've got a limit. And when we hit the limit, that class is closed. I'm sorry. But in the meantime, Sunday the 19th, we'll have Reiki 1. So if you want to get your Reiki on, now's the time. Come down and grab that. And Saturday the 25th, we have astrology with Adam, our in-house astrologer. He is delightful, great teacher, tons of information, interestingly synthesized. Check it out. You will be reviewing your notes, I promise. Sunday the 26th is our Reiki share and our palmistry class with Chris. That's another by donation class, just like the astrology class and the tarot class and the runes class. Are you picking up a theme on divination being by donation classes? It's true. There are a couple events coming up next month I want to mention. We'll be starting an introduction to Gardnerian witchcraft at 10 o'clock on Sundays. So before we open on Sundays, from 10 to 11, we're going to have that introduction to Gardnerian witchcraft class. There's a team of 3 people who will be teaching it. And on Saturday, November 15th, I will be here running a trunk show on behalf of Jerry, our old importer, a retired importer, I should say. She's fabulous. And we'll be running it in this classroom so that you can actually see the tons of things that we have of hers that we just cannot fit out on the floor in this new location. There'll be more scarves with different weights, gorgeous mittens. I love these mittens. They're wool, but they're lined with fleece. It's wonderful. They're so delightfully warm. There might be some fingerless glove style ones that still have a little mitten cap, but totally recommend coming and checking those out. There's going to be jewelry, purses, other types of bags, scarves, the little bobbleheads, probably more of those because I've got a decent sized bin of those downstairs, the little ladybug pins, the little poppets that we sell, all kinds of stuff that she has brought in from Southeast Asia and the southern end of North America, often called Central America, which makes me uncomfortable. It feels like we're trying to separate ourselves from people on our continent artificially. It's not. Central America is not a continent. North America is, and it's part of North America. Sorry, little side rant for y'all. Just my thing. Going back to the tea. Hi, guys. I'm so glad to see you guys, Lionel. Thanks for the comment. I thought today I would show you some things that are perhaps a little appropriate for the fact that it's now October, which means our next big holiday is Halloween, the end of the year, from a lot of perspectives from people who shop here. So I thought I'd show off some things that maybe you might want to consider. This is a unique, one-of-a-kind piece. This is a beautiful box. I just like the little black cat on top for Halloween. It'll hold a deck. It's that size. It'll hold even a slightly taller than normal deck. And I've got a few of those at home, I know. Fabulous box. Another item we've got that I think we'll be using at, I didn't announce this in the things coming up. Liz and Liz, we're going to team up and do a seance at the Recovery Bike Shop that is on our block. It's just south of us on Central Avenue. They're on the same block we're located on. If you need a bike, go to Recovery Bike. They're fabulous people. We almost wound up renting part of their space for our shop instead of choosing this spot. They came in like close second to the space. But one of the things I think we might be using there is this Ouija board cloth. So, and I can hear, if you have experience with Ouija boards, I can hear the question, doesn't cloth have a little roughness to it? How are you going to move a planchette over a piece of cloth unless you're like nailing it down, which we're obviously not going to be doing? There's a way. Fabulous pendulum work. If it moves, I am moving it. I'm actually trying to move it. I'm not trying to use it correctly. If it's moving and it's telling you, oh, I should look on this end of the board or this end of the board, we're going to make a note and we write that letter down. Then we try it again. And if it points another way, we'll get our message. It's going to be so much fun, you guys, this seance. I'm so looking forward to it. I also thought I would show off some of these fabulous, slightly gothic or spooky goblets we've got. Now, these all happen to have a stainless steel cup, so they're super safe. And oh God, you gotta love, look at that. You could do this with a pirate themed outfit. It would be fantastic because of the octopus in there. Oh, wonderful piece. And I love the red because I think it just will pop with the right costume. And if you're looking to wear something more colorful and you want the same kind of contrast, how about the skulls and that skull hand holding the goblet for you? There's a little flourish there, a little in the silver. Beautiful goblet. And then one more, Father. It's the Baphomet goblet. Gotta love it. And oh, look, the handle is not an even one. The rest of these they're all okay, but this is the most interesting handle. Gob. Technically, that's the gob of a goblet. I own an Oxford English Dictionary, and I looked some stuff up. What can I tell you? We've also got, and these are probably going out on the floor today, little cleansing kits. You notice there's no tags or information in here yet. There's going to be a sage bundle and a Palo Santo stick and a piece of shungite. So traditionally, there are a variety of herbs, incenses, all kinds of things that people from all over the world have burned to cleanse their own homes, their workplaces, gathering spaces. And sage is one of those herbs. Palo Santo is another one. I believe in the instructions that we've got online, because you can already find this on our website as a cleansing kit. The instructions are to go around first with the sage. Usually we light this. I recommend off of a candle if you can, just because I think it's easier, but sage will absolutely light off of like a lighter or a match if you really have the patience. And just take that into every room. You're going to hold on to it. Just as long as it's moving, it's likely to stay lit. Or if you have to put it down and you want it to stay lit, you want to be fanning it, for which we have all kinds of feathers. And there's one beautiful set of feathers that's been artistically put together by actually the same lady who does this box. And you just take that and you spread that smoke, go around your windows, go around your doors, get into the corners of your closets, just take it everywhere you can. And then if you haven't burnt it to nothing, and I never do on the first try, I literally run it under the faucet, put it on my windowsill to dry so it's ready to be used the next day. We also sell a beautiful burner. It's a plate burner, and it's got 3 little things on it. One will hold a stick of incense. One is big enough to hold this Palo Santo stick, and one is big enough to hold a smudge or bundle of herbs like this. Or if you flip it over, you can smoosh them out in those little cups that are a part of the plate. So lovely little piece. It's a blue. If I thought about it, I would have brought it in for y'all. But when I'm done with the sage, I'm going to go through and do it again with the Palo Santo. It's also considered cleansing, but it's got some chemistry in common with citrus fruits. So it's also a little bright, a little sunny. It's starting to bring those good blessings into the space for you as you do the same thing with the sage stick that you did with the white sage. You're going to light it. I try to get a corner lit and a little bit red before I take it around, and again, keep it moving. This one's a little harder to keep lit than the bundle of herbs that's in here. It's all white sage in this case. but you're just going to keep it moving through the space, relight it if you have to, and same rules. Go around your windows and doors, get into corners, get into closets, just get everywhere you can, get everything a little smoky, and then you're going to set out your shungite. And the reason to set out the shungite, and the reason we included it in the package, is so that you have a permanent reinforcement of the cleansing you've done. Shungite is one of those stones with a reputation for absorbing negative energy and taking it out of your environment. Even in some cases, some believe it transforms the negative energy into something useful for the people who are in the space. So, little kit, it runs just over $10. It's a little cheaper than buying the bag, the stone, the stick, and the bundle all separately and putting them together yourself. It saves you about a buck, but it's also so convenient. It's ready to go. And like I said, Liz is going to find, she's a better artist than I am. Not this Liz, the other Liz, really good artist. We've done showings for her. We sold pieces of hers, prints of hers. It's just lovely. If you remember the dodo pieces and the big woodpecker piece, that's so much fun. Those were her. Which reminds me, we're gearing up for another art showing. We're going to be opening up the art gallery soon. I am looking forward to perhaps in the next 2 weeks, the space getting finished and painted, and we're hanging up the picture framing works. So look for that. And I believe our first artist is likely going to be a wonderful contributor to the store, to the pagan community, just overall a wonderful lady. Her name is Tamara. Really looking forward to that showing. And then I've got 2 other showings already in the works getting lined up right now. One will be an in memoriam for an artist who passed away last year, who was part of the pagan community, part of the Chicago pagan community before that. And one is for the manager at the Recovery Bike Shop, who does amazing photography. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll be speaking with him here, I hope. I'm hoping in 2 weeks, but I haven't spoken to him about that because he's scheduled for next week. But because of last week's guest, we're going to see what we can do for that, because last week's guest was supposed to be the author coming in for that book signing on October 10th. So I'd love for you guys to get to see him here before the event. So hopefully we'll be doing that next Wednesday. And the Wednesday after that, Damon, the artist and bike shop manager, even though he's scheduled for next Wednesday, I'm hoping we can move him to the following. But here's that lovely smudging kit. So if you feel like Halloween is like a risky time for you, the veil is thin between the worlds, cleanse yourself up, cleanse your space. I also wanted to remind you guys that we have, I'm sure I've shown you guys at least once, but if you remember the Eye of Horus, or the Eye, which was down on Lake Street for years and years, a beautiful shop run by Tracy, who is a reader here when she can be. Unfortunately, right now she's recovering from some medical procedures, and we are all wishing her the very, very, very best. She is truly a delight to have in the store. They had developed some oils, some magical oils, and we have the last of them. We have Entanglement, if you're looking for a little romance magic. We've also got Reiki oil, if you just want to do a little healing work on physical, emotional, and spiritual levels, just all the way around, because Reiki is so good at addressing all levels of health and healing, and using the fact that if you heal emotionally, you get out of the way of the physical healing and you heal faster physically as a result. The idea of cleansing and healing yourself spiritually as a means of getting everything aligned and healthier, not just for yourself, but with Reiki, we work through time as well. So generational wounds are also often addressed in Reiki work. If not directly, then because you've asked for it, sometimes indirectly. So be prepared if you come and get a Reiki treatment from anybody to be surprised by what happens in the week or 2 following that. You might spend a little more time thinking about someone from your past that you need to work through some things, not for their benefit, but for yours. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. And then the other 2 I have from the old Eye, or Eye of Horus. It had both of those names, both the Eye and the Eye of Horus. When new ownership took over, it became Moonstone, and then it moved, and I think it has a new name now. They're on East Lake Street, though, if you're looking for them, because I like to support them all. I don't see why we can't all support each other. This is the New Moon oil, and it's priced exactly where it was priced when they had it. This one's $9.95. And then there's also a full moon ritual oil. So they got you coming and going. And the Reiki to fill in the spaces and a romance for a good Friday or Saturday night, and you're all set. So that's some of the stuff I brought to show off, thinking just of really of Halloween and fun stuff that you might want to play with. Oh, I've got one more. I totally forgot. Let me show you this one. This is a book for the non-reader. And I love this idea. We've seen it from a different publisher. This is the first time I'm seeing this kind of thing really from this publisher. It makes sense because they do books and they do decks of cards. They do tarot cards and oracle cards. So this is a logical combination of the two. This is from Judica Illa's Protection Spells. And it's a deck, which means you're going to get a protection spell per card, which also means you can let divination choose your spell. Get the deck, open it up, give it a shuffle, 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 shuffle till you're happy, maybe cut it once, and then see what cards you get for the protection spell. And if it makes sense for what you're working on, and it's a practical spell you can do right then and there, or easy enough to gather the things you need to do to get the spell done, use that spell. I love that. I love that possibility. You can do the same thing with a book, mind you. You can flip through a book. And in fact, Lon Milo Duquette's Book of Ordinary Oracles takes advantage of this by making the book a divination thing, not because you flipped to a page and randomly looked at some words, but because in the center of the page, at the edge, at the outer edge of the page, there's a message, and you can flip through the book until you feel like, oh, that's the page I want to stop on and see what your little message is. It's fantastic. I do recommend his work. He's got a sense of humor. He's a delightful gentleman. He has been so kind to the store over the years. I've interviewed him here on this program, so you can find that on YouTube. Just look for Magus Books and Herbs, Lon Milo Duquette. It should pop. And he once wrote us a fabulous dirty limerick. If you've been a longtime fan of the store, then when this kind of thing was something we did in print as a little newsletter with the class schedule and all those kinds of announcements and featured products and little articles, it was called Center Circle. And it had the symbol for either a circle or the sun, depending on the system you're in, which is a circle with a dot in the middle, either way. And I would ask authors for a short, seriously, I wanted a paragraph short. What does this symbol mean to you? And a number of authors replied very thoughtfully, very sweetly, very nicely. But Lon Milo Duquette was the only one who gave us a dirty limerick that you had to read between the lines to realize was a dirty limerick. So he's just a delightful human, and I will always heartily recommend his books. If you're at all interested in Kabbalah, he has 2 books out on Kabbalah that I totally think are worth picking up. This is the Chicken Kabbalah and the Son of Chicken Kabbalah, because once he got the Chicken Kabbalah out and it was a hit, he had more to say. So we have the Son of the Chicken Kabbalah. And he's now got a really good new book that came out this year that we carry on tarot. So, man, totally worth looking at. He's got a number of other books. My Life with Spirits. There's just a ton of books in his bibliography, many of which are on our shelves as much as they can be, because you guys like them and you buy them. So every week I'm getting more. But a delightful person to work with, and his humor and his rationality, I would have to say, really shine through in his writing, because he himself has doubted all of this, and he's very open about that in his writing and his work. First time he gave a tarot reading story is fabulous because he really thought nothing of it, didn't think tarot could possibly do anything meaningful or work in any way. And the woman he gave the reading to was just amazed and overwhelmed by the accuracy of what he was telling her. And we can have a whole conversation about the vagueness of language and the open, how it's open to interpretation. But to hit it that far out of the park really bowled him over and had a big impact on the respect he had for these methods. And I really think it only takes that sort of experience, regardless of the end of that experience that you're on, for you to go, oh, there might be more here than I thought there was. And it doesn't matter if we're talking about esoteric things where you can't get direct evidence that's repeatable and provable to everybody, or if we're just talking about, say, traditional diagnostic methods. The thing that got me to look seriously at traditional Western herbalism diagnostic methods was this part of the face and how it's attributed and how it's structured. So I loved that. So this part of your face, this little under eye area, there's no pores there. There's nothing. There are pores here. You're constantly leaking very, very slowly, very, very slightly, various fluids, various things in the sweat that are waste products. You're getting rid of stuff constantly through your skin. It's what gives the bacteria that lives on us something to eat, and the reason we tend to take showers on a frequent basis and use things like deodorants and antiperspirants, right? Well, this area of the face is associated with the kidneys, and it's the only patch of skin that I can easily and readily see where there are no pores. I am seeing what water is doing in my body. That made a certain rational sense to me. And then, of course, my big experience was getting pneumonia and seeing that show up on my face exactly where it was supposed to before I could convince a physician that I had pneumonia. Despite having facts on my side, 3-week incubation period, yeah, check. The right sounding cough, check, because it does have a specific sound. Oh, man. And the nice man patted me on the head, very patronizing, said, go home until you cough up blood or get a fever of 104. And I went, well, I can get a fever of 104 in hours, which I did right after they closed that day. So I dipped into a lukewarmish bath, nothing that felt too cold, but would take my fever down, and resumed the herbs that I was using to keep the fever in check. And then went back and said, look, I don't want to take something called vomit wort. Would you please give me the prescription I need to knock this out without having to do something that's likely going to make me throw up again and again and again, because I know my stomach and I know what I would do. Same is true. You have those profound experiences and you're like, whoa, I have to take a second look at this and maybe take it more seriously than I ever thought I was going to take it before. Lon's work is full of that kind of stuff. So if you get a chance, if you've never read any of his work, you can be looking at divination techniques. You can be looking at Wicca. You can be looking at ceremonial magic. You can be looking at Kabbalah. You're going to find his work, and it's all going to be worth a read. If you just want a basic knowledge of some of these subjects, like you're not sure you'll ever become a Kabbalist, you don't know that you're going to work in Kabbalah for years and years, but you want to have a little bit of understanding so you can have a conversation with somebody else you know that is really into it, pick up the Chicken Kabbalah. Give that a read. I swear, if you just sit and read, it'll take you less than a weekend. And you will have the basics down as a result of having read the book. If you're the kind of person who needs to reread stuff to absorb, well, you've got the book. You can always sit down on another weekend and peruse it again, or look up the chapters that are most salient to whatever's going on around you. But excellent introduction to the subject. If you want to go further, we've got those books too. Happy to help you do that. But if you're like, oh, 3 pillars, oh, Sephiroth, oh, Kether, oh, he'll cover those for you. And he does it with humor and wit and reality. So totally recommend him. Oh my gosh, it's 11:43 in my world. Okay. Usually I have some kind of subject and I've just been rambling. I thought we would talk today about that holiday that is coming up, which is Halloween, or Samhain, or Samhain, or for my baby boomer friends, Samhain. They're all fine pronunciations. Samhain or Samhain harkens back to the Celtic origins of that word. Fabulous if you say it that way, but I'm not going to laugh at you if you say Samhain either, because the first person who taught me about the Sabbath said Samhain and said Samhain for decades. And what you call it is what you call it. I am not going to begrudge you your pronunciation. You use an athame, great. You use an athame, fine. You use a teeny tiny tammy, all good. Your language is your language choice. As long as we can work together to figure out what we're saying to each other, I think we'll handle it well. So things that people do for Halloween. We have changed what we do for Halloween and the end of this year multiple times over the decades in my house. So this has involved, when my kid was little, the 3 of us going and grabbing a pumpkin from an actual pumpkin patch. We did that a number of times. Usually there were also apples, like late season apple harvests that we could do as well. But we would wander around the grounds of those pumpkin patch places for hours, pick a bag of apples, pick up 3 pumpkins because there were 3 of us in the house at the time. For those of you who don't know, I'm a widow. My husband passed away unexpectedly a couple of years ago, less than 2 years ago. So that was a big part of what we did. We went trick-or-treating, of course. 16-year-old at my house, not quite so much trick-or-treating time anymore, but we're still gonna have some fun. Maybe watch a spooky movie, not something too horrifying because I'm not a horror movie kind of person. I'm sorry. I just go, ow. So it's not really fun. It's kind of the same way I feel about the Three Stooges. Sorry for the Three Stooges fans, but I just watch that and I go, ow. But giving away candy, we've done the knock and drop where you leave some treats on a neighbor's doorstep and you knock and you leave and there's a little card that explains what that is and why it's there. We did this especially for someone who was about a block and a half away from us, about a block away from us, who we kept running into in the neighborhood walking his dog. He had a child who was 16 or 17 years old, their only child, who died while bicycling because a motor vehicle hit him. Nobody was completely in the right, but we're still talking about a kid on a bike and someone else in a motor vehicle. So it was a tragic end, destroyed the marriage. It did a lot of harm. So we always really loved this guy and his weird mutt puppy, the weirdest looking dog I've ever seen in my life. It was as though the genetics of the different breeds that went into the dog each commanded dominance of a little patch of fur and skin. So there were like Dalmatian spots in one place and not another. It was hilarious that we would leave like dog treats for them, like candy and dog treats for them. And we would do it for a few other neighbors as well. I don't know, and it's anonymous, so I doubt anybody realizes it was us that did it, but we had a lot of fun doing it and really making Halloween a gifting thing. Just spend $5 and it's fabulous. We've done, of course, trick-or-treating. We've done trick-or-treating that's very traditional and gone from door to door in neighborhoods. We usually leave our neighborhood because I live in a dead-end road that there's one house across the street for the 2-block length of the dead-end road. So we usually go to a neighborhood that really celebrates Halloween. Ours, I just don't feel does. And that's been lovely. And of course, last year and this year, we will set out some offerings to my husband, my child's other parent, and explaining that has been fun. The idea that you leave the offering out, they take the essence of the food, but you're actually obligated then to eat what's left of that food. Has been an interesting journey with my kiddo. That's also become part of what we do. So yeah, this year, maybe some scary movies. Maybe I'll pull out the decorations. I have a delightful painting from an artist that we've had featured here, Hugh Windwalker. It's been a minute since his art has been here for a showing, but it was lovely when it was here. And I'm curious to know what you guys would do for your holiday at the end of October. Do you do All Saints Day? Do you do Halloween? Do you do Samhain? How do you handle it? Do you do something else for that matter? For me, I always view it as the close of the year. And some people think of it, therefore, as the new year, as we go from one year to the next. But I've also heard that you don't go into the new year yet. The year ends and you go into sort of a space between years, sort of a dead time. And I would liken that to the new moon, but this is longer, obviously, because it's solar. And so some people will hook it up with the new year starting at spring equinox or some other holiday that's a little bit further into the following year. In this case, it'll be 2026. So perhaps we're talking about Imbolc or spring equinox, Ostara, something like that as the start of the year. And what comes in between is quiet time, planning, resting time, and then maybe planning time for the following year. I think it's such an interesting concept spiritually, that idea of we all need rests, that rest should come weekly, they should come monthly, they should come annually. I love that idea of recapturing your energy by slowing down and calming down, especially between Halloween and December uh, and through December. That November, December time can be so rushed and so stressful. And knowing that I'm going to have the mindset of taking some time away from all of the rushing around and extra chores because people are coming over more and there are gifts to get and there's things to do and places to be seen and to see. And, oh, we've got to remember to do the drive to see the holiday lights. Where's the city's guide on that? Or we're going to go to, in this case, in this part of the country, to the Minnesota Landscape Arboretum so that we can see what they've done, because that's cool too. Oh, there's just so much. So remembering that from Halloween through, if not February 1st or March 22nd, at least through the end of the calendar year, that we're supposed to take some time out to hunker down, to rest, to relax, to find solitude, to find some peace. I just think that's a beautiful thought that can really sustain me through what can otherwise be a very stressful time of year for some of us, especially with family coming at you. Love them. Don't always like them, all of them, by hour 6 of that special day, right? Starting to maybe steer away from some folks and really cling to other folks that you do like. It's understandable. Families are weird. Families are messy. But even in that day, I would still go, I'm going for a walk, everybody. And give myself 20 minutes of solitude, of peace, of recovery from the tumult of life during the holiday season. So that's part of what I usually think about at some point in October, because we're coming to that close of the year, according to some calendars. But I see my time is starting to wind down, so I'm going to let you folks go. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. Again, I'm Liz here at Magus Books at 2520 Central Avenue Northeast in Minneapolis and online at magusbooks.com. On behalf of myself and the rest of the crew, thank you so much for being your magical selves. We love that. We love that you make the world better a little bit in so many ways every single day, and how collectively we really can move mountains. We also thank you for the magical things you do here, like Lionel with his comments, the likes, the shares. Got several likes today, even while we're doing this live. So appreciate you guys tuning in. So appreciate you guys doing those little things. In the meantime, I hope we get to see you here at the shop soon or online. If you want more information about those classes and events, that will be online under classes and events. I should say I've had a number of people approach me this month about the Herbal Program Year 1. Enough of them that I'm thinking about running another session of that starting in January. So if you're interested, stay tuned. We'll have registrations opening up for that soon. In the meantime, have a great week and blessed be.